Hello everyone, this is Maurice with Maurice Money Matters. We're coming to you today talking about Key 6 and Key 7. At this point, we've paid off all our debt and we're about to invest 15% into our mutual funds and our Roth IRAs, etc., etc. At this point, you can invest 15% with no problems and no issues because all your debt is paid off, other than your house, if you have a house. If you don't have a house yet, we want to talk to you about home ownership and the proper ways to go about home ownership and what you should do as far as mortgages go, how long the mortgage should be, how much you should put down on your mortgage, and et cetera, et cetera. There was a study done about the millionaires in the United States, and the overwhelming majority of millionaires in the United States were millionaires from having a paid off home and also investing in mutual funds over a long period of time. This investing is not a sprint, it's a marathon. So it takes time, but it takes time to get anything that you want done properly. Nothing's really done overnight. But if you stay with the course, it would definitely work for you. So if you follow those keys from key 1 through key 7, you will see that things will change financially for you and things will start looking better your way.
You know, as Maurice was saying earlier, we've addressed keys 1 through 5, and now we're doing 6 and 7. We initially talked about making sure you had a budget, making sure that you had rationed out your bills, itemized everything so that you would know what to pay. We talked about financing your children's education. We've talked about paying your bills from the smallest to the greatest. So at this point now, one other thing, your emergency fund. We don't want you to forget that because emergencies do arise, things do happen. So we don't want you to be panicked or in a ride if something happens, breaks down, need extra money for whatever. So make sure you have that $1,000 put away for your rainy day fund, your emergency fund. Also make sure you have 6 months of income put away for in the event that you lose your job, in the event that you lost it for whatever reason, on sick leave, medical leave, whatever. Then you'll have at least 6 months worth of living expenses budgeted for emergencies, and you don't have to touch your emergency fund. At this point, Maurice was saying things in reference to purchasing your home. Some may already have a home that has been purchased. Others may need to purchase a home. There's no benefit in renting a home, leasing a car, or any of those things. So at this point, your car should be paid for. All your bills are paid for, with the exception of your mortgage. If your mortgage is not paid for, or if you need to get a mortgage, let's say you need to get a mortgage and you're looking to see what you can afford. You never want to budget your mortgage for more than 25% of your total income. Now, we were talking early on in Key 1 about budgeting your money and listing all of your bills. At this point, you are debt-free after your mortgage. If you don't have a mortgage, do not finance anything more than 25% of your income going towards your mortgage. For a mortgage, once you have secured your loan, you need to make sure that you have at least 20% down for the total mortgage. Because if you don't have 20%, they will charge you a private mortgage insurance, which is called a PMI. If you have a PMI, after I think it's 3 years, am I correct? How long is it before you have to, that you can eradicate that PMI?
Once you pay on that PMI and you get up to 20% down, accrued in that mortgage, then that PMI falls off.
Okay. So therefore, once that PMI is paid for, then you go, all of your money will go to then your mortgage in reference to your principal amount, and your interest rate. So make sure you get a good interest rate if at all possible. We know that inflation is on the rise, so try to get as best interest rate as you can. And the better credit that you have, the less amount of interest that you have to pay. So with that thought in mind, when you are securing your mortgage, try to get a 15-year mortgage. They do have a 10-year mortgage, but most of the time people qualify and are more comfortable getting a 15-year mortgage. If you get a 15-year conventional mortgage, you generally can pay that off in about 12 years. I know that because we did one of our homes that way. We paid a 15-year mortgage off in 12 years. We got a 15-year mortgage on this house, but we paid this house that we're currently living in 8 years. So God has blessed us in that manner. So therefore, when you do get your mortgage, try to finance it for 15 years. If you can afford a 10-year mortgage, that's even better.
And as she was saying, with a 15-year mortgage, which is what we recommend, there's ways to go about paying it off early. The way we went about paying it off early is we did bi-weekly payments. So bi-weekly payment is where you make a payment, you make a half of a payment every 2 weeks. But with that half a payment that you make, you pay an extra $50 or $75. And what happens, because you're paying every 2 weeks instead of every month, at the end of the year, you end up accumulating an extra payment. So you actually make 13 payments in the time of the year. So by you making an extra payment, it ends up taking that 15-year mortgage down to a 12-year mortgage.
Now, Maurice, can you reiterate as far as what the difference is between a bi-monthly and a bi-weekly mortgage payment?
A bi-weekly is where you pay every 2 weeks. Now, if you calculate how many weeks it is in a year, and you pay every 2 weeks, you end up paying extra payment. But if you pay every month, you only pay 12 payments. So you have to do the math. But if you do the math, it's a little trick that's out there for paying off your house early. It sounds the same, but it's not. Bi-weekly is not the same as monthly. Or bi-weekly, if you pay bi-weekly, you add another $50 to it. At the end of that month, you actually pay an extra $100 to that mortgage.
I think what the bi-weekly payment really boils down to, when you're working, you get 2 extra paychecks per year. So with those 2 extra paychecks, that equivalates to 1 full mortgage payment that is in addition. Mm-hmm. And a bi-monthly, I think they just take every 2 weeks, no matter how many payments you get paid at work. So with that being said, therefore, you can, if you do an extra payment also when you get your income taxes, as we were telling you how to pay your bills off early, when you get your income taxes or a bonus check or any extra money that you can put towards your principal mortgage, you would send that principal payment in saying principal payment, so they wouldn't apply it to the interest. If you do it that way, then not only are you doing a bi-weekly mortgage payment, you're adding to an extra mortgage payment with your taxable income or your bonus checks.
That's correct. And as we've talked about investing, later on we'll come back and talk more in depth about Roth IRA versus an IRA, mutual funds, 401k, 403b, the difference in all those type of things. That's really educational for people that is not aware how to set those up and those type of things. But at this point, you have paid off all your bills. You've got that 15% that you can invest, and then you start strategically investing in that type of money. Now, key number 7 is you've established all of those things that we talked about from key 1 through 6. Now, this is the fun time. The time where you can go buy things and you don't have to worry about it. You can pay cash for it, and you can kind of live the way you've always wanted to live because you're not in burden of that debt. The Bible says that a borrower is slave to the lender. So when you borrow money from a company, you actually in debt to them and you're actually a slave to them. You got to go to work to pay that debt off. That's what it means when it says that. So, the Bible talks about also that he desires for us to be the lender and not the borrower, to be the head and not the tail. These are things and these are principles all based biblically, and that God will bless you if you will manage and do things the right way with your money.
Well, also the Bible said, Jesus said, that the poor you will have with you always. So when looking at that, you have to look at the fact that God has blessed us to pay our bills off. He's blessed us with the desires of our hearts, each individual, once you get to this point. And it's better to give than to receive. The Bible says to give and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will men give unto your bosom. And so with the same amount of giving that you've given, it will be given back to you. So you should give, not really even expecting it back, because the Lord has made a way for you. He has blessed you. He supplied all of your needs according to his riches and glory. So our Father is rich in houses and land. He told us to give, and salvation is based on giving. God loved us so much, John 3:16, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believed in him would not perish, but have everlasting life. So just as God sacrificed his only begotten Son, we should also sacrifice and give to those that are less fortunate. Not necessarily through agencies. I'm not knocking that, because we do that. However, when you see somebody in need, there's times that Maurice and I will go to the grocery store and people don't have enough money to pay for their goods. We pay for them. We offer, we give, all of that. So with that being said, at this point and juncture in your life, make sure that you're giving. Give to your church. Give to those that are in need. Give to those that are less fortunate.
That is so correct. At this point, you've paid off all your bill. You got more money than you've probably ever had before because the bills are paid off. So you really want to start to give back. And there's more ways to give back than just giving money. The knowledge that you've learned on how to be financially secure, you can give back that and tell people like we're doing on how we've done it so that they can live a better life. Until next time, this is Maurice with Maurice Money Matters.